I have the privilege of representing 25 municipalities throughout Monmouth County. And I can honestly tell you that I have heard voices from each and every one of those towns. These voices are crying out in fiscal pain and crying out in fear. Fear of the future for themselves, their family, and their children. I also fear for my children and my 3 grandchildren. Their future in New Jersey is bleak, and yet this budget does nothing to allay those fears. It does not make those difficult decisions, the same difficult decisions such as the ones that my constituents need to make on a daily basis. This budget does not address a prime opportunity to reduce spending. That is, reform of benefits and entitlements which state employees receive. While some make the argument that there are shared sacrifices in this budget, the fact is that they are not equal sacrifices. I'd like to share with you an email that I received from Brian. Quote, "The only reason that we have remained in New Jersey as long as we have has been because family is nearby and because I still had a nice job working for a relatively stable company. However, one by one I watched my brothers and their families move away. Then my parents, and then my wife's parents left. Now my company is moving to Colorado. The tax burden is overwhelming. What's worse, there is no hope for things to get better. The bulk of the state's problems lie in benefits that have been promised to the public workforce, benefits that far exceed anything that any of us in the private sector can dream about. Despite the fact that on average their salaries are much higher than that of the average citizen. My wife took some persuasion, but we are now looking at states which have chosen not to kick the can down the road by failing to swallow their bitter medicine now, and where there is a climate that supports and attracts businesses as opposed to the ones that see them only as cash cows to be milked." End of quote. Mr. Speaker, this email is reflective of the many hundreds of letters and emails that I have received. The people's frustrations is palpable. They feel that no one is listening to them. Well, Mr. Speaker, I am listening to them, and therefore cannot in good conscience vote for this budget, which does nothing to effectively and permanently correct the situation that we find ourselves in. It does nothing to make lasting, difficult decisions.